My name is John Griffin Donlin, but a lot of people call me Dr.Leisure. I like to make these short videos on a variety of topics: food, fashion, travel, technology. I like to make these short videos, and I hope you like watching them, but if you don't, that's fine too. Alex Cook wrote an amusing piece for Country Roads about the perplexity of picking a plate lunch in Lafayette way back in 2012. One wants to make the right choice, so I consulted the wisdom of the ancients, Facebook in this case, to see where I should spend an errant luncheon in Lafayette, he penned, somewhat tongue appropriately in cheek. It opened up the floodgates. One contingent of online foodies was dead set on Laura's 2 or Creole Lunch House. In process, Alex pointed that his crew recommended he watch the documentary Raised on Rice and Gravy about the Lafayette plate lunch scene, if only to confound his choices. At the point I investigated this, I just finished working on a reference book, We've Been Framed, about Louisiana in the movies, and I was a little astonished how well covered the state is by useful documentaries, so that was good advice. In the event, Alex chose Creole Lunch House after resorting to a tiebreaker, explaining that friend of mine that grew up in Lafayette had been monitoring that decision process and cooed, oh, that Creole stuffed bread, good old toincoss. The food writer recalled that by the time he pulled up at Creole Lunch House, the rest of the Creole stuffed bread had been sold, though a fried pork chop plate with greens, red beans, and rice and gravy did a lot to console my heart. Breading and deep frying a pork chop might be considered overkill, but then so might the fins on a classic Cadillac or the lapels on a zoot suit. The greens were expertly seasoned, not too salty, not too tangy. They were left with enough earthy twinge to counter the richness of the pork chop. The red beans performed a similar balancing act. They weren't the rich, creamy, New Orleans-style Creole red beans, but thinner, almost soupy. Though we began to visit years later and now go from time to time, the description is apt. Pretty recently, we visited the Creole Lunch House yet again and found things tastily familiar. I got the red beans and rice, and my colleague the battered shrimp. We were not disappointed. Creole Lunch House, 713 12th Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, 337-232-9929.